And welcome into the JUCO Rush. I'm Mike Fraser. He's Robert Williamson. Semi-finals in the NJCAA, all set. 4 teams competing for a national championship. The JUCO Weekly Trophy. 5 finalists were announced earlier. And it is go time in the postseason. Robert, Iowa Western entertains Northwest on Friday night. And then the matinee on Sunday, it's Georgia Military at home on grass taking on Hutchinson. Robert, how are you?
I am doing good. How about you, Mike Fraser? By the way, I noticed I'm down here in southern Alabama. I mean, Florida is about a stone's throw away. I'm decked out on the heavy weather gear. You're up in Chicago where, heck, it's probably snowing, and you got a T-shirt on. What's up with that?
Yeah, self-promotion, the JUCO Weekly logo. That's why. I got the heat of blowing. It's pretty good. Yeah, no, it's not too bad up here. 29 degrees, no snow, sunny today, so not bad, not bad. Looking at the weather forecast down at Council Bluffs for Friday night, not bad if you're Northwest, not bad. Number 1, no snow. Number 2, I think 30-degree high. At nighttime, it'll be about 27, 26. Could be a lot worse for the Rangers, a warm weather team going to play in a cold weather town up at Council Bluffs.
And I think down in Georgia, I was about to look, as a matter of fact, as we speak, to see what it's going to be like there. Might have a little bit of shower activity, but not going to have anything cold-wise. No miserable rain, if they have any. So should be nice for both locations. And by the way, both locations have got a ton of JUCO Trophy finalists participating.
Yes, they do. First of all, I want to give a really congratulatory marketing move by the folks at Georgia Military. They did a watch party on the announcement of the NJCAA 4 teams. And, the drama was Georgia Military going to get the 2 seed and host or have to go on the road? And they hosted, they received the 2 seed. And it was just like when you watch it for the NCAA basketball tournament. They were out there as a group and cheering and all that. I thought, man, Rob Manchester and the folks at Georgia Military, that was golden.
And that site, that location, that atmosphere, it is going to be something that they're going to want to bring back, because I'm telling you, they brought extra bleachers into Davenport Field. Seats about 1,800, 2,000 folks. I think it's going to be packed out. It is going to be a tremendous atmosphere for Sunday's game.
Yeah, I read earlier in the week that that this will be the first time Hutchinson plays on grass in quite some time. So I wonder if to me that's not going to matter, but it is something different. It is something different. Going on the road and playing. Hey, on the show today, we've got the 5 JUCO Weekly finalists on there. We've got Will Cornelson, the talented linebacker for Tyler. We also have Iowa Western pair, Fresh Walters, the wide receiver, the quarterback, Hunter Deckers. And then we have the 2 running backs who are the finalists, Northwest, Demarion Petit, and also Hutchinson's Wayman Jordan. And hey, on those running backs, Robert, Demarion Petit committed today to Coastal Carolina, and Wayman Jordan committed today. He made the big jump, and he's going to the University of Central Florida.
Man, those 2 schools picking up some great running backs. Top 2 running backs in the NJCAA, Jordan 1,300 plus, Petit 1,200 plus. Quality backs, going to play some quality football this weekend, but also next year.
Yeah, no doubt. And man, it's been great to watch these guys play. One guy we watched was Will Cornelson, and man, Robert, we had his teammate on, Darian White, earlier in the year. Great guy too, and they were talking about the great chemistry, the general affection they have for one another, and how they both battle for that tackle title. And Cornelison edged him out by 2 tackles, I think 126 to 124. But wasn't that pretty cool? Wasn't that pretty cool? We ever talking to both of those guys?
It was, and really hadn't thought about the fact that that's exactly what happened. We talked to one linebacker, I guess, about 8 weeks ago, and now the other today.
That's right. And here is that interview. Will Cornelson, linebacker for Tyler, a finalist for the JUCO Weekly Trophy, sat down with the JUCO Rush. Will Cornelson joins us. Will, man, congratulations, man. You're a top 5 finalist for the JUCO Weekly Trophy. What a year you've had. What a year you've had, Will.
Yes, sir. It was a blessing to be on a team full of guys that just that wanted it every day. From spring ball up until fall camp, we all had a singular goal in mind, and it was definitely a privilege to be a part of a coaching staff and a part of a linebacker room that really pushed me as a player, and everyone we came together, we accomplished a lot of goals, and we created a lot of history in Tyler. So I'm really proud of my guys and what we were able to accomplish.
Will, I asked the tough questions. Last year, you were number 34 on the roster. This year, you're 10. Why the change?
Well, so, man, I like number 10. That's always been the number that I've wanted to have. They had me at a jack linebacker last year, so I played more of an impactful role this year in the defense, and I got to pick my number this year. So 10 is what I wanted to roll with. So Coach hooked me up and let me put it on.
You and Darian Wyatt all year long, man, you're battling back and forth. You got more tackles than he does. He's got more than you do. And then, so a couple of questions all wrapped up into one, and that is, how was that competition? I know it was a friendly competition. That's number one. Number two is, did it make you a better football player?
Absolutely. Being in a room with Darian, such a high-level linebacker, it was, we earlier in the year, in spring and in fall, we both had goals that we set out for ourselves and for each other, together as a linebacker duo, and we accomplished all those goals. And every day, whether it's practice or meetings, we're always real locked in on what's going on, and being the best versions of ourselves. We were part of a great coaching staff that pushed us as well, and it was definitely a blessing to be able to play alongside that guy for sure. It definitely pushed me, and I know I pushed him. It was a great deal that we had going on.
Joining us, Will Cornelison, linebacker for the Tyler Apaches, JUCO Weekly Top 5 finalist here in the 2024 campaign. And Will, just overall, your strength, what you saw, you led the country in tackles with 126 total tackles. You were just so effective week in and week out. 2 games where you had 14 tackles each game. Those are personal highs for the season for you. What is your best asset at that position?
So every week, just watching film and preparing and just knowing how to analyze film and analyze the team that we're about to go play, it definitely played a big role into that. I had a great position coach that we would break down and analyze film and analyze, all right, well, what is the O-line here? What are their tendencies? What's the quarterback's tendencies? Formationally, what do they run out of? What formation? It was very it was very sound football that our objective was to play, and I was just around a bunch of guys that we all had the same mindset, and we all instilled it to how we went about our day, whether it was practice, film, or just weights. Well, regardless of what it was, we all had one goal, and we all just had a fire under us and ready to get after it. And it's been a blessing for sure.
You and Darian, tremendous chemistry. That is rare, and I know you're young. You may not realize that, but that is such a unique, rare trait where teammates have just a terrific chemistry. You guys not only bond off the field, but you connect on the field. Just what did it mean to you to play next to Darian this entire season? And now you guys go your separate ways. So it's a tough time for you as well, I would imagine.
Yes, sir. It meant a lot. I'm an only child, and Darian's one of those guys that I can really call my brother. So it was never really personal. We were always just working towards the same goal and always trying to make each other better. So having somebody like that, right next to me all season that I can just call my brother, things, it's football. Things don't always go your way. Things don't always go well. So having a guy like that, you can just take a deep breath, lock in, and refocus and refocus your mindset on what your goals are, whether that's a game or practice. It was big for me. It was big for my development as a linebacker and as a man as well, for sure.
Lastly, you played in the Texas League, the SWJCFC, arguably the toughest conference in the country. What do you take away from that experience playing in that conference for as long as you did?
Well, it was definitely, there's a lot of good competition. It is junior college, but there's a lot of studs. There's a lot of really good ball players that play football at a very high level. So, it was fun to be a part of and play, high level football like that against guys that are very talented. And it pushed me. It made me a better linebacker, made me a better player, and it was definitely a blessing to be a part of it.
Will, congratulations on being a top 5 finalist for the JUCO Weekly Trophy. You'll find out next week if you made the cut to the top 3 and one of the players that will be invited out to Canyon, Texas. Man, it was a genuine pleasure watching you play football this year, and you really represented that position very effectively. So congrats on a terrific season and nothing but the best, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
And there he is, Will Cornelson, linebacker for Tyler, JUCO Weekly top 5 finalist, 126 total tackles, led the nation, led the country with 21 and a half TFLs. That's tackles for loss. Also had an interception, just was a wall back there for Tyler. And man, it is rare, Robert, and you know this, that you have a duo at a position like that was effective every week throughout the course of the year.
Not only effective, 2 guys that supported one another. It wasn't one guy wanting to be a star over the other. It was one guy wanting to help the other. And that is what greatly led to the success of Tyler.
Yeah, you're right. Because when I talked to Will to set up the interview, who's he hanging out with? He's with Darian. They're hanging out. This was a few nights ago. He's like, yeah, we're just kind of hanging back here talking football. So yeah, it just goes to a point to what you said. Will Cornelson, talented linebacker for Tyler and a JUCO Weekly finalist.
Next, 2 other guys who are in the hunt, and they're on the same team out of Iowa Western. Mike, is there a better tandem receiver quarterback wise in the NJCAA than Walters and Deckers?
Man, these are two rock stars, no doubt. You've got the quarterback throw for over 3,200 yards, led wire to wire in yards for a quarterback. He can find the end zone, and who does he find in there? He finds Titus Myers. He also finds Fresh Walters. Fresh Walters, a JUCO Weekly Trophy finalist. Hunter Deckers, a JUCO Weekly Trophy finalist. And they talked with the JUCO Rush. All right, on the JUCO Rush here, we've got 2 guys in here now. These are 2 JUCO Weekly Trophy finalists, 2 guys that are having just incredible seasons, and they're playing for a football team that's back-to-back national champs and is hosting Northwest on Friday night. You see the quarterback, Hunter Deckers, and also the wide receiver, Fresh Walters, joining us here on the JUCO Rush. Fresh,
yes, sir.
Your best asset as a receiver. Tell us what it is. Hands, feet, style. What is it?
I'll say my best asset as a receiver is just being able to be dependent on third downs, or just being able to be dependent on them making an explosive play. Like I'm just an explosive playmaker, and if you need to call on somebody, you can call on me.
Hunter Deckers, I got to ask you, man, when you came to Iowa Western, you were looking for an opportunity to again display those skills to the next level, to the NFL, to Canadian football, whatever the case might be. Man, did you ever imagine that this was going to be the stage? You would be in the Final Four. You would lead in about 5 or 6 different categories and be one of the finalists for a major award.
To be honest, I've never really been the type to just sit there and look at stats, like individual stats, like the winning aspect of it though. Yes, I expected to be here. Like I expected for this team to make it this far and win it all, to be honest. But the individual stats part of it, I really don't look too deep into, and I really don't look at ever. So I can't really say much on that part of it.
So Fresh, tell us about Hunter. Then Hunter, tell us about Fresh. What's it like at practice with Hunter? What's it like in the huddle? What's it like on the bus?
First of all, just the relationship we got together off the field is what built that. I mean, when he first got here, I didn't know where things was gonna go, and I just trusted him. I mean, the first day he got here and I met him, we went to the indoor and we just went straight to work. So I knew what it was gonna be, and he's just a special player. Like, I've been Division 1. I've been played with a lot of good quarterbacks and a lot of good camps, but this is honestly, it's just, you gotta say it, that this is the best quarterback I ever played with, and I'm just thankful for it. And he just know a lot of things, and he just make it easy on you. So when you got a quarterback like that, you just gotta catch the ball and just make a play at that point, because he's making everything else easy.
Hunter?
Yeah, to be honest, I would kind of say our relationship is kind of like brothers. Like, I mean, we literally we room together. So like, I mean, we're one door down from each other. So
Yeah.
we're with each other all the time. I mean, we're always getting extra work in. We're always, I mean, after we get off the field, we're always communicating on what we see from his perspective, what I see from my perspective. But I say what's the best for him is he's always willing to learn. Like he's always wanting to know what he can do better to help himself and the team. And I feel like for someone at this level, that's super special.
Fresh, I got to ask you, we were talking before we went on the air that you weren't familiar with Iowa Western a couple of years ago. So tell me in kind of a nutshell, what got you from Charlotte, North Carolina to Council Bluffs, Iowa?
I ain't get as many things or what I thought I was going to get. And after that, it's just, I've been an underdog my whole life. So it was just betting on myself. And coming here, I got Navion Cargill, he a tight end, and Marion Davis, they both from Florida. I grew up with them. So, I mean, it ain't make it too hard of a decision what JUCO I was going to go to.
You know, Hunter and Fresh, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention Titus. Titus Myers having an incredible year as well.
Yeah.
What's it like with you three guys, man? I mean, and Hunter, man, they want the ball. You're getting them the football, and you guys got to get open for him, and you're getting open for him. That dynamic, you know, that takes a lot of, you know, that takes a lot of coordination.
Yeah, no, I mean, to be honest, I mean, it's been really cool to see how this year's really played out. I mean, to be honest, we got a lot more talent than just us three. I mean, we're not the only three that make this football team who we are. I mean, it's everyone. I mean, it's a lot of the people that aren't even on the stat sheet. I mean, it's the O-line, tight ends who aren't even getting catches. I mean, it's the running backs and the pass protection also getting out in the runs. I mean, it's everywhere. I mean, to be honest, like we're just the ones that have the stats, but we ain't the only reason this team is who we are.
Guys, you've got Northwest Mississippi coming up on Friday. Got to ask you about the ball game. Fresh, you first, then Hunter. Fresh, what are you looking for where this is concerned in Northwest and their defense? And is there anything special that you are doing prep-wise in preparing for the Rangers?
No, I wouldn't say I'm doing anything special at all. I mean, we had the same motto the whole year. If we just go out there and be us, don't make mistakes. And as receivers, like for me, as long as my receiver group, because I just look to be a leader in front of the group coming from a bigger level, so I just look to lead the group. I just take that role, and I just think that as long as we go out there, run our routes, block when we not getting the ball, and just execute as a team, like I said, we can't be beat. That's how we started off this season, and we just gotta finish it like that.
Hunter, you haven't had a bad game, but maybe a little bit of an off game to wrap up the season with a couple of interceptions versus the one touchdown. So I guess by your standards, maybe a slight off game. Does that motivate you even more so against Northwest?
I mean, obviously, to be honest, like it feels like we haven't played a game in a year. I mean, this being off this long, it sucks. Feels like fall camp all over again.
Yeah.
But to be honest, like no, I mean, like you got to have short-term memory playing this football game, like playing football. Like you can't think about the last game. Like you got to go into the next game with a clean mindset. Otherwise you're gonna have stuff weighing on you that you shouldn't for that game. But when it comes to this team, I mean, they're a good football team. I mean, they play hard. Like they do their everything right, and that's what you're gonna get. I mean, playing the top 4 teams in the country. I mean, they're a reason they're here. I mean, they're a good football team. So No, we didn't do anything extra to prepare. I mean, if you have a different mindset going into this week than you have every other week, you're going to put more pressure on you that you don't need. So, I mean, I think we've just kind of treated this week as we have every other week that we've had so far.
Guys, it's been great to watch you guys play football this year, and you've had the bullseye on your back-to-back national champs. Even though you guys weren't on the team, you're still wearing the logo, and they're coming after you. And, man, you played Robert and I talk about it. Your head coach, Scott Strohmeyer, goes after. He'll play anybody, anywhere, anytime. And he loves going to battle with guys like you, man. So I think you play the toughest schedule in the country. It's been awesome to watch you guys play. Best of luck down the stretch on your recruiting, and Hunter, on your way to the National Football League. So thanks for jumping on the JUCO Rush, guys, and we wish you all the best.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, and you heard right there, interesting that I take away from that is hear Hunter say, man, it feels like fall camp all over again. You know, I mean, that I do wonder, you know, Georgia military, they've even had an extra week off because of the way their schedule fell. So we're talking, what, about a month before they play another football game? You talked to Rob Manchester. What does he say about that?
Well, they have been so busy. As a matter of fact, I asked him that very question because there has been such a long layoff, but they've gone through the regular routine, the regular workout routine, practically the regular practice schedule. Have altered that a little bit, given some players some time off. So at least his perspective was it really doesn't feel like we've had a month off because they've had so many different things they've been focusing on.
I mean, it's good for healing up guys and all that, but I do wonder the rhythm is broken. The schedule is disrupted, and athletes love a set schedule. So, but hey, everybody goes through it, but it is something to consider. And some teams may not handle it the way they should, or the way it is, you know. So anyway, two more guys. We got the running backs here. JUCO Weekly finalists here on the JUCO Rush. Wayman Jordan of Hutchinson and Demarion Petit, who's on the bus with the team on their way to Council Bluffs, and they sat down with the JUCO Rush. And back on the JUCO Rush, here we go. We got the top two running backs in the country in NJCAA football. You see up there, up top in the blue, it's Wayman Jordan from Hutchinson, Kansas. On the bus, down left in the red, it's Demarion Petit. D, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing good. How y'all doing?
Good. Wayman, welcome in.
Thank you for having me.
Well, first of all, guys, you both committed today. Let's start with you, Wayman. Congratulations. You committed to UCF.
Thank you.
Congrats. What was that process like?
Very hectic process with all the schools calling and texting, trying to get me, but I think my heart just told me to go with UCF.
Very good. And Demarion, you made your selection as well. Congratulations. Tell everybody where you decided to go.
I decided to go to Coastal Carolina.
That's right. Yeah, man. What was the determining factor for you?
Like I said, I think it may have been the beach. I think I like to sit out there at the beach. But they running for a while a lot. It's a good program. They got a good academic program. So I think it fit me quite well for the most part.
And let me say thanks to both guys for joining us. Demarion's on the road with Northwest Mississippi on their way to Iowa, and Wayman's going to be flying out to Georgia here in a little bit. Wayman, let me start with you. You went to a high school that produced Emmett Smith, Emory Smith, Trent Richardson, and now Wayman Jordan from Escambia High School there in Pensacola. What in the heck is it about Escambia that produces such great running backs?
I honestly just think it's just the city in the whole. I mean, I think we all just come from the same kind of background, and we just all work how to run the football.
And Demarion, you look at where you guys are going now. Let's switch and talk a little matchup action. First of all, I looked at the weather forecast. Ain't going to be too bad for you in Council Bluffs, man. So should be pretty good running weather for you.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What did you see on film against Iowa Western? What's it going to take to knock them off?
like I said, they're a pretty good team. You know, they rank for a reason. But we're gonna have to, like I said, we're gonna have to run this football. We got to take our time and make our time. Helmet on the helmet, and we should be all right.
Hey, I just want to be on record right now. My co-host Robert, he's taking Iowa Western, man. I'm on you guys. I'm jumping on your train, man. So you let the guys on the bus know that Frazier's on you guys.
Okay, yes, sir. I got you.
Mike, you forget that I do have access to the controls. I can cut you completely out of this conversation. But I'm going to leave you in for now. Wayman, you got Georgia Military College coming up. They have got a really strong run defense. Are they the best defense you face this year?
I still can't say yes to that. No, sir, they're not. I still believe I don't think they're going to be the toughest defense we ever face. So I think they're going to be definitely a scrappy defense, but I don't think they're going to be our toughest matchup. No.
And DeMarion, you're going to Iowa, where apparently the weather is going to be okay. Was there concerns to begin with that weather would be an issue?
No, sir. Nah. We knew it was gonna be cold. We ready to go play.
Hey, D, give us a shot of that bus, man. Let's see give a shot of the guys on the bus there, man. Let's get the JUCO Rush.
Little dog back there, but you can't really get it. They back there though.
I bet, man. Hey, D, I got to ask you, man. You carried it. You're hauling the football pretty hard, man. And man, how's the body holding up? The legs, the knees. You carry it an awful lot.
Oh yeah, we good. Oh yeah, we ready. I'm ready, 100%.
And Wayman, where Georgia Military is concerned, any different prep for Georgia Military versus the prior 11 games, or is it routine per normal? I mean, it is different from you from the perspective that you got a lengthy trip as compared to, I think, the longest trip this season for you has been 4 hours. So it is a little longer drive. You're playing on a Sunday. You're playing in Georgia. You're playing on their plane. So is prep different for you?
For me, no, sir. I think in my head, I have to stick with the same routine of taking care of my body before the game. And I think actually playing on Sunday is actually a better for us anyway, because it gives us an extra day of prep. And also, I mean, we feel like it's a home game because we have a lot of players from the South. I know I'm going to have at least 20 family members at the game. So, it's going to be a lot of family people there. So it's going to look like a home game for us.
And DeMarion, the same for you. What do you see on film going up against Iowa Western? What can you do with your legs, with your vision, to really make it a big day for you?
Get downhill and, run the football hard, get the matchup that we want at the line of scrimmage, on corners, on safety, make them miss and, have a good day.
You got Northwest at Iowa Western, and then you got Hutchinson playing the matinee game on Sunday at Georgia Military. Wayman, as we wrap up with you, just what's it been like playing junior college football at Hutchinson in one of the proud, rich programs in NJCAA football?
I think it's been a great experience, to be honest. I mean, I think it helped me grow up and helped me be a man more. I think the coaching staff here helped me grow, on and off the field, honestly. And then they just prepared me for the next level. And I think I'm going to have a smoother transition just because I came here.
And then DeMarion, you look at you, Benji Parker. Look, you guys win 10 games in a row in Mississippi. That's rock star status, man. Benji Parker, a guy that's always there. He loves you, man. He said that in a quote. He loves you. What was your experience like with Benji?
My they're gonna really push you to be the best player, you to be the best person to be. Being in Norwest, it turned me into definitely a better person and of course a better player. And like I said, it's in this bond, and you can reach out, and there's so many resources here. So yeah, it helped me in a very, very good way.
Yeah, no doubt. DeMarion, thanks for jumping on. Wayman, thanks for jumping on the JUCO Rush, guys. Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Want your team or business to truly stand out? Look no further than Sport FX Designs. They specialize in high-impact sport and graphics that demand attention, whether it's custom animated logos, sleek animations, full branding solutions. Sport FX Designs delivers professional, eye-catching visuals that elevate your brand. Head over to www.sportfxdesigns.com and see how they can bring your vision to life.
Yeah, I thought talking to Damari and Petit on that bus, they're rolling down the interstate, so sometimes it's going to break up. But basically, what he said about head coach Benji Parker was he just brought him a lot of structure, brought him a lot of confidence, and it was just terrific to work with him. And Benji has that reputation around the MACCC down there. Look, all these guys are studs. These players, these coaches. I mean, Rob Manchester, Hall of Fame human being. You've got Scott Strohmeyer, another class act. You got Drew Dallas at Hutch, another first class individual. Benji Parker, a great man, well respected and well liked, in the football world. So 4 good guys, quality football players, and look, you look at these programs. Georgia Military, a program that has a great tradition. Hutch, Iowa Western, and their short history. Northwest, what they've done. So, man, you got 4 powerhouses that are playing football in the semifinals, man.
And they are obviously our games of the week. Northwest and Iowa playing on a Friday, Hutch and Georgia Military on a Sunday. Mike, you want to pick them?
Yeah, I'm going to go Northwest at Iowa Western. I'm going to go Northwest. I think I just like them to win that football game out in Council Bluffs. And then down in Georgia, I like Hutch. I think Hutch is going to get the job done winning that football game against a very good Georgia Military football team.
It feels like we are back to normal now because I'm going opposite on both. Iowa Western is who I pick over Northwest. You obviously already alluded to that in our conversation earlier. And I'm going with Georgia Military at home field advantage. And Hutch, longest road trip of the year. I'm going with the Dogs and the Reavers.
And look, I can't fault you. These are 4 quality football teams. So that's the matchup, man. And look, I think you've got the NJCAA committee, got the job done again. And you've got representation from the MACCC. You've got the ICCAC. You've got the KJCC, the Kansas League, in there, and then an independent is in there in Georgia Military. So what a year! I mean, what a year these teams have had. Just quality football. Look, it's like I said. I think Kansas does it the best way. It's all about what you do in the season. There is no playoff. They protect that team. That's one-loss team. Goes through and plays quality programs like Butler and Garden City, and then they step out of conference as well and play schools from Texas and Iowa. And then you've got Mississippi, where Northwest, you come out of that 10-1. Think about it. Northwest lost the first game of the year to unranked Pearl River, ran the table, won 10 straight. That's special. Georgia Military losing early by 1, going for it, losing to Iowa Western, and then running the table. What a win at Snow. That was their big game. You talk about Northwest, that Hail Mary against Holmes. How big did that turn out to be, huh? You look at it, Robert, one play for a program or one day sets the table for the postseason, and we see it here again.
As you mentioned, very similar paths for at least 3 of the 4. Now, Hutch lost late in the year, but Georgia Military lost their second game of the year. Northwest lost their first. Iowa Western lost their second of the year. So similar paths. And one thing before we part ways, don't you love the fact that typically you've got a team that's on the bubble with a valid argument of maybe they should have gotten in to a playoff scenario? Boy, we're seeing that at the NCAA level right now. But where these 4 are concerned, I think it's just cut and dried this year. These are the 4 teams that deserve to be in.
For sure, no doubt. And you talk about Iowa Western. I thought what the NJCAA did was fantastic. They had Iowa Western and Hutch play early. They played September 7th. So whoever lost that game had runway to crawl back in. And Iowa Western did. They not only crawled their way back in, but became the number one team in the country. I like when they scheduled that with what the NJCAA did, or maybe the conferences did, to set that game up. And then the respect that was shown to Hutch, deservedly so. There's nothing to hold your head about losing a football game in your conference. Georgia Military, same scenario. They played and lost early, and they build credibility with that committee throughout the course of the year. And that game at Snow on Saturday night was just the stamp that propelled them to where they are today, and they are certainly deserving.
4 great teams, 2 great games, but only 2 teams will emerge, and we'll talk about them next week on the JUCO Rush.
That's it, Robert. We'll see you next week. By the way, thank you to Pepsi and the folks at Allen Beverages down in Gulfport. Understanding community college education is important, and understand athletics with these student athletes is equally as important. Special thanks to those guys every week for jumping on and being a proud partner of the JUCO Rush. For Robert Williamson, I'm Mike Frazier. So long, everybody.